So in perimenopause, so many women are in that stage of their life where they have family. They're caring for maybe elderly parents. They might have 2 jobs. They might have a husband who's home or is on shift work, or, and you feel like a taxi driver, you feel like a cook, you feel like just a house cleaner, and you're trying to work on top and trying to keep your nails done and trying to stay in shape. So all of those things, it's a really busy time. This invisible load that women in perimenopause carry is exhausting. It's overwhelming and creates burnout. And we have to know when enough is enough.
Welcome to Thriving in Menopause, brought to you by Prevention Magazine. I'm Zoe Mernier, the editor of Prevention, and I'm super excited about today's episode. When you think of strength, resilience, and peak performance, you think of our next guest. An Olympian, an elite athlete, an advocate, a woman who has spent her life deeply connected to her body, and yet, when perimenopause hit, it took her completely by surprise, like so many of us. After battling through this often arduous journey, she's now helping others going through this life stage so they are better equipped to navigate all the changes that can come our way. Yes, as you may have guessed, our guest today is the one and only Lisa Curry. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Zoe, thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Now, in this episode, Lisa is not only going to share her personal journey through menopause, but she's also shifting the lens forward, or perhaps backward, because if you're in your 30s and thinking, this doesn't apply to me yet, think again. Lisa shares the habits, foundations, and mindset shifts she believes women of this age can build now to better prepare our bodies for perimenopause and beyond. It's the advice those of us who are in the midst of it or out the other side wish we'd known, but there's plenty in here that we'll be able to get out of this conversation too. So let's dive in. So Lisa, you've spent your life as an elite athlete and a picture of strength and vitality. So when perimenopause began for you, what did it actually feel like, and did you recognize it for what it was?
Yeah, well, first of all, that picture of strength and vitality, Zoe, was probably a long time ago. I was going through perimenopause when I was about 35. So, we're talking 30 years ago. I'm 63 now. So it's a long time ago and a lot's changed since then. But
still a picture of strength and vitality, trust me.
Well, I might look if I don't feel it this morning. But yeah, back in the mid-90s when I was in my early 30s and going through then, we weren't talking about perimenopause then. In fact, we probably didn't even really know what it was. And in fact, if the word menopause came up, it was almost disregarded because that was for old ladies. That was for older women. It's like, and now that's me. But, when you're 30, 60 seems really old. And so there was really nothing happening at that time. There was no conversations.
No.
And yet my body was telling me something different. I knew something wasn't right because I'm a pretty easygoing, don't give a shit sort of person. No, unless something really bothers me. But things started to creep into my life and I'd think, wow, that wasn't like me. And my husband would look at me and go, who are you?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that it was happening. But every 5th day before a period, I was I was gonna swear then. I was a really moody cow. I was an absolute bitch.
Yeah.
And taking it out on my husband. But I didn't realize that it was a cycle. I didn't know it was a pattern until much later on. And it did create a lot of problems in our relationship because, I'm not like that. And then all of a sudden I was irrational, I was crying. And that was the biggest thing for me is not knowing what these symptoms were and feeling almost terrified.
Right.
Because it wasn't me.
Yeah. So you never had any issues with premenstrual, syndrome or tension before your 30s?
Not really.
Yeah.
Being an athlete pretty much my whole life, my menstrual cycles were quite light anyway, maybe because of all the training that I was doing. But by the time I hit perimenopause, I had 3 kids.
Yes.
So my hormones were up and they were down and they were all over the place, and after each birth, I remember after having Jamie, I was in hospital and I was sitting in the bath in hospital, was crying my eyes out, and the nurse was saying, "What's the matter?" I don't know what's the matter, but now we know it's, your hormones have taken a huge
Battery, yes, that's
and
right.
it's something that happens to you.
So when did you feel that you put a name to what was going on in your life?
I didn't. Well, at the time, I still didn't know, and I did go and see a doctor at that time, and I'd had a male doctor for a long time, and he wrote out a script for me, and on it, I think he thought he was being funny, but on it, he wrote a script for a massage and a maid. So that's all I got.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Dismissive thing.
in 1996, I was paddling in an outrigger race, and there were two guys that were on the boat that were driving it for us, and I was just telling them how tired I was all the time and how I just wasn't feeling great. I don't know why I opened up to two guys I'd never known before, but I did.
Yes.
And they said, "Oh, we've got to put you in touch with this guy. He's a naturopath. He's a hormonal specialist." I went, "Great." So that's when I met my now business partner, Jeff Butterworth, back in 1996. So I've known him for a long time. And so when I went to see him, he said, "This really sounds like it's hormonal." And he actually put a name to it, hormonal imbalance.
Yeah.
Never heard of it before. And we started working together. And then years later, we decided we wanted to create our own product, which is now Happy Hormones, which is now our business, Happy Healthy You. We've been going for 12 years. And, it's gone from strength to strength. And now we've been talking about it for 12 years. So when ladies or the media say, "Oh, no one's talking about this," or we have for a long time. So
Yes.
we absolutely know what's going on in the body. We absolutely can tell ladies what they're experiencing. So a lot of it has come from my lived experience through the whole journey.
Yeah.
And what we do is we change lives every day. So that's our tagline,
Yes.
and we're very proud of that.
And I mean, it must have been such a learning curve for you along the way of just finding out, because this is such a nuanced and, there's so much involved. So what are some of the biggest lessons as you were going through this journey along with Jeff that you went, "Oh my gosh, why don't people know this?"
Well, first of all, the journey is different for everyone. So
Yes, yeah.
some people really breeze through it. Some people really struggle with it. And some
Yeah.
people are kind of, go in and out of it. But I think if women understood what it was and that it is a natural transition, this is what a female body is going to do. It is biology.
Yeah.
And you can't fight it. You can't force it into doing something that it's not willing to do. And when a lady understands that, they're more accommodating of their feelings around it. But when people get really confused about what's going on, that's where we come in. So we help take all the confusion away. We simplify everything. We let the ladies know where they're at, what they're experiencing, what their options are, how their symptoms come to be, and how they can reduce the severity of all their symptoms moving forward. So I like to think about it as firstly celebrating and honouring being female,
Yeah.
because little girls as young as 8 and 10 years of age are starting to get their periods, and it's quite sad actually that they are beginning so early. So you've got that age group, then they become teenagers, but the most important thing is to explain to the teenagers what's happening in their body.
Yeah.
Because I had a recent conversation with 3 girls. One was 27, one was 32, one was 35. And I was asking them, what do they know about perimenopause and menopause? And the next day, I got the most beautiful letter from one of them. And she was explaining the guilt and the shame and the trauma that she had grown up with as a teenager. And her letter was so beautiful, so powerful, but so sad at the same time, about comparing herself to everyone else when she was 15, 16. Why are they getting boobs and I'm not getting boobs? What's wrong with me? Why aren't I developing? And I thought, wow, that's really powerful. And I have to speak about that, because having teenage girls really need to sit down and talk to them about how their body develops. And it's basic biology 101, you
Yeah.
know, but if you don't know how to explain it, if a parent doesn't know how to explain it, that's where we come in again. So all of our articles explain that sort of thing. But I talk about the relay of life. So that little 8-year-old girl that got her period becomes the 18-year-old who's heavily into sport, who may then lose a period because she's so into sport, or who might be getting really heavy periods and not knowing what to do with that. And then they hand their baton onto their next self.
Yes.
And then in the reproductive years, and then they hand the baton onto the next self again. So that relay of life continues until we get to what I call the long game, where, you know, you're in your last third of your life from 60 to 90. And you have to ask yourself back here,
Yes.
what sort of person do I want to be? What sort of health do I want to be in? What sort of fitness do I want in my 60s? And you know, you have to ask yourself now while you have the opportunity, what sort of person do I want to be? Because severe symptoms, illness, disease, they don't just happen on that day. They don't just happen in that week. It's an accumulation of neglect in some areas for decades before it happens. So I like to talk about my 4 pillars of health.
Yes.
When I say to people, you have to look after yourself. And I even tell this to little kids in primary school, and they get it. Self, SELF. S is for sleep. E is for exercise. L is for lifestyle. F is for food.
Yep.
So how am I sleeping? Have I exercised enough?
Yep.
What type of exercise are you doing? What is my lifestyle like? Do I like where I live, work, the people that are around me, and food? What sort of food do I eat every single day? And if you can ask yourself those 4 questions, you know, every now and again, you can start to understand what we need to do to have the life that we desire.
Yeah.
Because we all have a choice in life.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love a sausage roll. All right.
Yeah.
I can have that. I don't feel guilty about having that. But over here I have a salad and water and an apple. And, you know, you can easily choose either.
Yeah.
We're adults. We can have a choice. But your body only knows one way to deal with it. So the 80-20 rule comes in. What am I doing most of the time?
Yes.
So that 20%, you know, have your treats, have a glass of wine, have some chocolate. It doesn't matter. It's what you do most of the time that counts.
Absolutely. So let's just backtrack. We're passing that baton back to, you know, when you became that perimenopausal self. How did that change your sense of self, and how did you, I guess, recalibrate who you were in that time?
As I said, some people breeze through it, some people don't. I feel like I was in the middle,
Yeah.
but also on the breezy side.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly because I had met Jeff. He became my new sort of life coach.
Yes.
I started eating better. I took care of my recovery. I was training hard still. After my swimming career finished, after 23 years, I paddled outrigger canoes. So I paddled for 20 years. So I had passion and I had purpose, and I was still training. So I was able to out-train my bad choices in food.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Some more sausage rolls back there.
I know, yeah. Actually, my best friend and I, we always laugh about being at school in grade 7 and 8. We both have cream buns.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, you'd go off and work yours off, and I didn't. I just got fat. So we still laugh about that today.
Yeah.
But I feel like I got through it fairly unscathed.
Yeah.
Except that I think that it affected my relationship more than myself, which is kind of sad. Because I was really up and down, but my joy for what I was doing in coaching people, in working and speaking on stage and having my kids, the joy of all of that sort of overrode the moderate sort of symptoms that I was getting, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
And I think sometimes, and even now, like I've had a few bad days the last, week or so, but I know that I can choose to feel sorry for myself and sit there and go, fuck it, I hate everything, sorry about swearing, but that's how I felt.
Yes.
Or I can go, you know what, why am I feeling like this? And I think it's okay to have those days where you've got to just think, okay, why am I feeling like this? What haven't I been doing? And you just have those up and down days, and
it's okay.
sometimes,
stuff goes on that's
we all have things, we all have shit in our lives. It's just the depth that varies.
Yes.
And that's why I think at the end of the day, we have to really think about, are we living our best life?
Mm.
And that comes into my pillar of health under lifestyle.
Yeah.
Am I in the job that I love? The people that surround me, do I really love them?
Yeah.
Are there toxic people that I can get rid of in my life? Do I live too far away from work and I'm sitting in the car for an hour every morning, afternoon, trying to get there? These are all choices that we
Have
as
control
individuals,
over.
we do have control over it. And, I kind of liken it to a jigsaw puzzle, where your life is a jigsaw puzzle. If you took all the pieces out and then only put back in the pieces that make your life fun, you might have a completely different jigsaw puzzle.
Absolutely. Or give you purpose, or
I think
you're
I think having purpose is really important. What makes you jump out of bed in the morning?
That's right.
I can lie there in the mornings with my eyes closed and then think, okay, what am I doing this morning? I've got this, this, and this. And then my eyes just pop open. I go, right, out on my way.
Yep.
But, you can also lie there and go, I don't really want to get up.
Yes.
There's too many things on. But having a family, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's right.
So in perimenopause, so many women are in that stage of their life where they have family. They're caring for maybe elderly parents. They might have 2 jobs. They might have a husband who's home or is on shift work, or, and you feel like a taxi driver, you feel like a cook, you feel like just a house cleaner, and you're trying to work on top and trying to keep your nails done and trying to stay in shape. So all of those things, it's a really busy time. This invisible load that women in perimenopause carry is exhausting. It's overwhelming and creates burnout. And we have to know when enough is enough.
Yeah.
And I know through my sport that there are times when I know when enough is enough and I have to stop. But I recognize the symptoms and I know I need a day or 2 off. I need to pull my phone away. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to potter around the house and just get myself back on track. Have a sleep if I feel like it. I don't care about dinner. I'll have Vegemite on toast, and not have all those expectations from the world.
Yes, absolutely.
On top of me. But it's really hard for mum to do that. They can't get off that hamster wheel. They got to keep on going. And the last person that gets attention is themselves.
Yes, as you say, you lose that sense of self in all those categories that you say.
Yeah. But what I'd say to women when they feel like that is, even if they can just get half an hour a day, just walk away and do nothing. Don't even take your phone. Don't scroll. Just walk away and just sit. The kids are fine with dad. I don't know. Put the favourite movie on TV and let them watch TV for an hour and give yourself a break.
Absolutely. So obviously, as someone that was very physical, during this educational curve with Jeff, did you feel like there was some specific changes that you had to make in how you took care or supported yourself physically?
Physically, I knew that I had to be careful with my training because I spent my whole life at a very elite level. I always wanted to win. I wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
I trained to be the best. If you lined up to me, next to me, I was going to beat you. And that was my attitude. That was just how I was.
How you became an Olympian.
Yeah. Until I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I have a defibrillator now. And that was a big life change for me.
For sure.
So I had to change what I did. I had to change my attitude about winning. And it was really hard because I didn't want to line up and come 10th.
Yeah.
It wasn't me to do that. So it was easier for me to step out of the sport that I loved so much because I had this. I had to, if I went out paddling, I had to go with a friend. I had to take an EPIRB. I had to, take my phone in plastic covering.
Right, yeah.
But if this went off when I was in the ocean, and it has gone off once, and it threw me backwards and I hit my head on the canoe, I drown.
Yeah.
So I had to find something else to do. So I became a personal trainer on land, and that in itself was amazing. And that to me was a real redirection for me. I love training women. I always trained women anyway, but it was just a whole new, different purpose.
Yeah.
So the physical side of it for me was quite easy. That readjustment was hard, but a new door opened. And we all have these sliding door moments in our lives. We have doors open for us all over the place, but if a door doesn't open, it's not your door.
That's right, yeah.
So just get rid of that one and don't worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
And keep trying to find that door that gives you purpose and passion.
Yeah, absolutely. So was sleep one of the did that have a big change for you in that time, or?
I was always pretty good sleeper.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Right.
Gosh,
Yeah.
what's good sleep now?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I do take our MSP, which is our magnesium sleep and pain now, and that really helps. But sleep is something that I think it's because I have so much on my mind all the time.
Yeah.
And I learnt from my mum really early on to write lists. Even my lists have lists. My husband hates lists, but I've got to get it out of my head.
Yes.
He said,
Because then it goes around in circles if you don't have it down.
He said, put it in your phone. Oh, I'm not technically minded. I like it written down.
Yeah.
And pages of lists. And I like crossing them off. And it's like, it's an achievement to cross something off the
list. Yes.
But he goes to sleep. He goes to bed. And about 30 seconds later, I'll say, hey, what about this tomorrow? He goes, I was asleep. It's like, what do you mean you were asleep? How can you go to sleep that quickly?
Yeah.
So sleep's extraordinarily important for health.
Yeah.
So, there are some things that that I would suggest to women to do. And if you have a snorer, sleep in the other room.
Yeah.
And I know when I have my grandsons over, when they want to get up and sleep with Granny, they'll come to the side of the bed. And you know what? Instead of trying to put them back into their own bed and stay there and read another story and pat them, I just pull them into bed with me and I hold their hand and they go to sleep, because sleep is so sacred, And I know my daughter sometimes has a couple of mattresses on the floor. You know what? Kids are only little for a certain amount of time. You can't stay up with them all night trying to get them back to sleep so that you can go back to sleep. Just let them sleep on the floor. They're not going to do it forever.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm not going to tell my daughter how to parent. I just do it my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Granny's house, Granny's rules.
Yeah.
But sleep's really important. Make sure the room's dark. I like the fan on. Sometimes I like the air conditioning on. Hubby doesn't. Bad luck. Pull the covers over. He'll come in for a cuddle. Great. And it's like, that's enough. You're too hot.
Get off me.
There's too much heat. Got one leg out, one leg in. I've worked out that if I wear top half of my pajamas and just undies, that's better than having long pants on because it gets too hot and then you're throwing the...
Yeah.
Being a woman.
I know. Absolutely.
So sleep has really been worse for me during menopause and post-menopause, not so much in perimenopause.
Right. Interesting. Oh, and annoying.
See, that was a long answer to a short question, but it's not. See, that's what I mean. They're not easy answers.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so
Everyone's
different.
That's
and
right.
it affects everyone at different times in their life as well. So because there's 34-ish symptoms of perimenopause, you might get 3, then you might get 10, then you might get all of them, then you might have none, and then you get 3 more, and then then menopause comes along and you get a whole new range of symptoms, and then post-menopause comes, and the only thing different is you don't get a period, right? But you're still getting hot flushes and you're still, getting some symptoms. They linger for a while, but they'll start to peter off after a while.
That's right. All right. So many women, I think, in their 30s feel like menopause, as you did, is a distant issue. So apart from the fact that that was when symptoms started showing up for you, why do you think this is such an important time to start, I guess, planning and preparing?
Well, you want to prepare for your future. So I'll give you an analogy. So when I was a young kid, I wanted to go to the Olympics. I knew I wanted to go to the Olympics. The Olympics were, 10, 20 years away.
Yeah.
So you don't just go to the Olympics.
No.
You have to have the thought first.
Yeah.
And then you have to have a plan. And then you have to take action. And it's exactly the same with peri and menopause. Like, it might seem years and years away and you don't really want to think about it because you don't want to think about getting older. But it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you prepare and take action now while you can help yourself, lessen the severity of symptoms just by changing a few things in your daily life until it becomes habit.
What do you think the key things are that women should focus on?
Time for themselves. Well, depending on what stage of life they're in. So busy working mum, they need that time for themselves.
Yeah.
They need to be able to get their sleep.
Yeah.
So having, 20, 30 minutes before going to bed on your own, maybe doing some legs up the wall yoga, maybe just doing some deep breathing instead of scrolling on your phone. I know we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
Watching a, mini series and then trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So just taking that time just to breathe. I think that's really important. And to think a little bit more, like actually plan what you're going to do. If you were going to start a business, you wouldn't just jump in. You'd be planning. You'd have a strategy. You'd have actions. You'd have a daily timetable of what you're doing. You'd have boards. You'd have lists, goals, lists. You would.
Yeah.
Businesses just don't happen. And you treat yourself like your own personal project because you have to be the CEO of your life. And it comes down to all of that planning on top of everything else you do.
Well, yes.
We've got a symptom tracker that we're going to release soon. And, you can look at that and it's covering my 4 pillars of health and things that you can do each week. But you can stick it on your fridge and go, yep, tick, tick, tick. I've done those until they become habit because you can't change everything at once.
That's right. Yep. It's a matter of prioritizing, working out what you can do now, and then moving on to it's the 1% better thing, isn't it? Just little steps. I guess there is a bit of doom and gloom around menopause, well, more than a bit perhaps. But what do you see as the opportunity in this phase of life?
The media tend to lump menopause.
Yeah.
But this is why it's confusing to people because people don't actually, they hear the word menopause, but they don't think about, well, when is it actually? That's where a lot of confusion comes in.
Yeah.
So, you've got, I'm going to call it 3 stages of life. So you go from 0 to 30.
Yep.
30 to 60.
Yep.
60 to 90.
Right.
So I'm going to call 30 to 60 midlife.
Yep.
Now, 30-year-olds will say, I'm not in midlife.
Of course.
Sorry, love, you are.
Yeah.
So within that time frame, there is going to be a menopausal transition of some sort. But firstly, you're in perimenopause. So peri is when all those symptoms start to show themselves. And then as time goes on, your symptoms will be up and down and around and changing all that way through. When your periods start to become erratic or if you miss one, that's when you're in the menopausal transition. And then the day that you don't have a period for 12 months, that is menopause.
Yeah.
You are in menopause. The day after that, you are in postmenopause. So the only difference between menopause and postmenopause is you don't get a period, but the symptoms don't stop just because your periods do. They will continue. They will linger. So unfortunately, for people in their early 30s, I'm so sorry to say, but these symptoms are going to come and go until you're at least about 60. After that, freedom.
Yep.
Sorry, ladies.
Exactly.
But that's why I say some people, I meet people who don't have any symptoms at all.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And yet I also, we see it in our group because we have 203,000 women in one group. And there are some really, really sad ladies in that group who are just struggling every single day. So we see both ends of it. And the great thing about our business is that within that group, we have a group of really highly intelligent professional naturopaths and nutritionists who can go in there and talk to the ladies every single day.
Yeah.
And that's a service that we provide, which we're really proud of. So, if people don't know where to start, what to do, they just want to ask a question, they can just pop into the Facebook group. They can sit back. They can not even interact if they don't want to just read things. They can post anonymously if they want. They can ask any question about anything, and our girls are in there. And I think too, if women don't know where to start, if they're a little bit confused, they can download our online assessment. So we've had over 1.5 million women download the assessment. That's over 20% of the population in Australia right now that are in perimenopause and menopause.
Wow.
So we have, I know, wow. So we have all that data. We know what women are going through. And that's why we do what we do.
And do you feel like then the lifestyle putting into place, it gives you an opportunity to look at your lifestyle and make some changes? And then in your experience, can you see significant changes for these women and in what their experience is?
Yeah, we see great changes in women. There's a lot of people who it helps. There's people that it doesn't help either.
Yeah.
We can guarantee our products, we guarantee our service, we guarantee all of our information, but we can't guarantee what people do in their life.
Yep.
So, someone might eat well most of the time, but drink every night, drink every weekend, and say, the products don't work. Really? It's interesting because I know there are ladies who say, I do everything right. I exercise well. And I say, compared to who? Like, what are you doing with your exercise? Because people think they're doing the right things. But after they hear me speak at a presentation or if I'm talking to them one-on-one, they do have a little bit of a second think about, maybe I'm not really doing what I need to do most of the time.
Yeah. What do you find that people are sort of getting wrong about exercise in your experience?
They think they're doing enough.
Yeah.
And they might do like a 20-minute session, a 30-minute session at the gym.
Yeah.
And then I see them downstairs in the coffee shop having, a latte and a piece of cake.
Yeah.
So you just negated what you did calorie-wise.
Yeah.
So, energy-wise, energy in, energy out, all that sort of thing. People who go to the gym and walk on the treadmill. When I was training in there, I used to walk over and I would just tap on the buttons and increase the speed and the incline.
Yep.
And I'd say,
now go.
Now go. It's like, that's really hard. It's like, yes, I know. But I said, if you're going to go for a walk outside. Go for a walk in the park. Go outside, get some fresh air.
Yeah.
It's just to me, it's funny because I've been a personal trainer for a long time and personal trainers will say the same thing, that when you go to a personal trainer for the first time, seriously, you will not be able to walk for 4 or 5 days afterwards.
Right.
And that's the sort of intensity that you need to get results. You can't build muscle if you're not consistent. You can't build muscle if you don't lift the correct weights at the correct intensity and
keep pushing that, doing that progressive overload thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can go to the pool and swim aimlessly up and down.
Yeah.
Will I get results? No. I need a program. I need something that challenges me in every different area of being able to swim faster from A to B. So there's a lot of processes in everything that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, what's one empowering message you'd love every Australian woman to hear about the menopausal transition?
Through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, educate yourself.
Yeah.
So be open to reading about what your body is going through. And most importantly, understand that this is an absolutely natural transition in your life. It's biology. It's what your body is meant to do.
Yeah.
And don't fight it.
Mm.
Don't try and stop what's happening to your body. Accept it for what it is, because you are female and women are extraordinary, totally extraordinary.
We sure are. Well, sadly, that's all we have time for today. But Lisa, thank you for your honesty and your strength and your generosity with sharing all that with us today.
Thank you, and I hope ladies enjoy that.
Absolutely. If you are in your 30s, let this conversation be a reminder that perimenopause is not the beginning of a decline. It is a transition. And like any transition, it's one we can prepare for. Thank you, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe for more. I'm Zoe Mernier. See you next time.